So for today's Ashtanga practice, I want to share a little bit of a Dharma talk because I enjoy giving some spiritual food to kind of chew on or to be contemplative with, either at the beginning throughout the practice, or you may want to sit with it at the end. What I was going to discuss today is, we always talk about yoga meaning to unite, to bind together, to bring together. It's a yogic. But there are still two types of philosophies out there. And one of those philosophies is yoga actually separates the soul away from the mind and the body. And the other piece of philosophy is, well, the smaller self actually gets to join with the higher self because the mind, body, and spirit are starting to join and come into more unison, more harmony together. I can actually see the relevance of both of these philosophies because the idea of yoga and the recipe of yoga is to try to get the mind and body in control, which in that idea of separation is separating away from the disturbances of the mind and the body. So when we are born into this vehicle, into this human existence on this physical plane, there's already separation. We have separated from the spiritual realm and have now entered the physical realm. And so the idea of yoga is to separate away from the senses that keep us trapped in the mind going and in the body getting fed, to withdraw from that so we can tap into that soulful part of our nature, which takes us back out of separation, back into our original state or original form. So I get that. But I'll also understand the other one where it's like, no, we're using the body as a way to calm the mind. And when we get the mind calm, we're able to tap more into our spirit. The breath allows us to tap more into the spirit. And the breath is interweaving like a thread, the mind, body, and the spirit together as one. And therefore we have that cosmic connection or connection with something higher, the higher intelligence, the higher creator, however you want to describe it. You're creating oneness with that. Either way, it's still creating union, do you see? So philosophy can get a little heady, it can take you down rabbit holes. But I wanted you to be aware that at different points when you're getting more and more into yoga or getting more into the reading of yoga or into the philosophy of yoga, you might come across this kind of conundrum of, well, which is it? Are we separating from the physical form to move back into the spiritual form so there's no more duality? Or do we master the mind and body and connect it all so that we're still letting go of so much polarity and duality and forming that state of oneness? It's really hard to do that, but that's the goal of yoga. And in that state of yoga where we feel the unison is where we experience freedom. The freedom and the sovereignty of being a unique individual expression of the divine, but also completely relatable and inclusive and one with everything that exists. It's kind of hard to imagine today when we see so much contrast between good or bad, right or wrong, light and dark. But let's get into our practice and see what happens. We're going to start sitting and doing some Ujjayi breathing. The Ujjayi breath is kind of the go-to breath for flow practices. So if you sit on top of a prop, if you have one, you don't have to have one. But eventually the hips can get a little tired and the spine can start to droop if you don't have that platform. Let's allow the shoulders to roll down and back, the hands to reside on the lap, and the eyes to close. And at first, just acknowledging what you're bringing to the mat with you today. Noticing first what's showing up in your physical body. And if you've had any recent aches, pains, or ailments, remember where these areas are as you practice, so that you can send your loving attention there and practice with compassion. And then start to notice what you're bringing to the mat with you. Your mind. Where is your head at? Where are your thoughts wanting to take you? Are they trying to pull you into the past, project you forward into the future, or are you here now? And equally checking in with the emotional body. Noticing if you have any emotional storms brewing, or maybe they've recently subsided, or perhaps even neutral since it's so early in the day. And there's no right or wrong, good or bad, so let go of the labels or judgment concerning it. And trust that this practice will help us to transmute and transform this energy for the better. We're going to go ahead and begin this by incorporating the Ujjayi Pranayama, where we constrict the back of the throat, breathing in and out through the nose, noticing how the breath begins to sound like a whisper, sound of the wind, or mimicking the ocean. When we first ignite this pranayama, sometimes it can be a little raspy. It can sometimes sound like a broken up snore. But as you sit with it and control it, you'll notice it will eventually smooth itself out. Notice how it fills up the chest. Experience how the lungs deflate. And with this breath work, you might even sense a little movement in your upper body. Expansion, contraction, or the lift and the descent. Take 3 more of these breaths. Now that you've been sitting with this breath, we're going to incorporate the same breath as we get up and begin to flow. So let's come up to stand. Now, I would suggest if you are a person that enjoys using blocks, I would have one block in the front and one block in the back for when we get to the standing poses. Because really with the sun styles, it's freestyle with hands. So come to the front part of the mat and spread out your toes, the base of the feet. Root them down, line up your legs, and feel your legs start to get conditioned. Zip up through your midriff, stand up nice and tall in Tadasana, and then let's join the hands together to prayer position at the heart. All right, beginning with A. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, dive in. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, step it down the mat and immediately drop and hover to Chaturanga Dandasana. When you're ready to inhale, lift up dog. And as you exhale, roll back to down dog. And this first sunset might feel a little stiff. That's okay. The body will be getting more warmed up. So if you add in a little movement, that may be helpful. Maybe walking the dog. And if you want to be static and still, that's okay too. Activate that Ujjayi Pranayama if you haven't already. And then on your next in breath, bring the feet together at the top of the mat, lift halfway up to Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, roll it on down, belly, chest, and face. Inhale, push down through the feet, sweep the arms to your sides and up, Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, Samasthiti. All right, inhale, expand and lift your arms overhead. Exhale, hands forward from your hips and dive in, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen out through the vertebrae, look out with your eyes. Exhale, step it back to plank, immediately lower, Chaturanga, building upper body strength. Inhale, open the front body, extend your neck out of your shoulders. Exhale, curl your toes, pull back through your navel to downward facing dog. The head is bowed in between the upper arm bones. You're looking in the direction of your feet. I know in some practices we encourage closing the eyes, but in Ashtanga, the eyes stay open. The drishti here is set towards the feet or beyond. Next in breath, let's gather the feet again to the top of the mat, to Ardha Uttanasana, where you're sprouting up. And then exhale, drop down and in. Inhale, standing up, fingertips reaching to the heavens above. And then exhale, gather your hands, come back, Samasthiti. All right, let's keep that rolling. Inhale, gather up what you need, and then exhale, bring it home and into yourself. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, take Chaturanga Dandasana. When you're ready to breathe in, strike up dog, open your heart. Exhale, roll back, downward facing dog. Now focus on your hands. Spread out your fingers, push into the padding of your palms, the mounds of the hands at the base knuckles. Slightly dial the hands away from each other, pressing ideally through the mound of the index finger and thumbs. Feel how that changes up the upper arms, creating more space between the ears and shoulders, broadening the upper back. Keep the belly hugging in. All right, inhale, feet land at the top. Extend the spine. Exhale, lower belly. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, let's keep this going. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Notice already your hamstrings are getting a little warmer. Inhale, look out with your eyes. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, lift to upward facing dog. Exhale, curl your toes. Rock and roll to downward facing dog. Hold and breathe. Breathe with depth and control. Creating that sound for you to meditate on. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, close in Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to move into the B, Surya Namaskara. So inhale, bend the knees, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold over straight legs. Inhale, a little pick me up here. Exhale to chaturanga. Now, if you're in the practice of bouncing right back and skipping plank, you can do that. I just don't feel like it today. When you take down dog, right foot's gonna step to the front. Back heel lowers. Come up, warrior one. Get that front knee bending, aligning over the front ankle. Your front thigh rolls open. Your back hip rolls forward. Arms reaching up like the back bend building. Exhale, hands down. Step it back. You can always advance it to flying plank, flying chaturanga if you want that addition. Otherwise, keep those feet on the ground. Left foot next. Step through. Lower the back heel. Coming up. Warrior one. Focus from your feet up into your body. Exhale, hands down. Continue to flow. Take that third vinyasa. So these B's will step it up a notch. And in Ashtanga, the B sun styles typically stay the same. So we'll be doing this with repetition. Gain that control over your breath so that you can either separate your mind and body, rejoining back to spirit, or blending the three together. Inhale, feet to the top of the mat. Lengthen. Exhale, drop down and in. Let everything flow to the crown of your head. Bend the knees. Inhale, arms lift. Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to hearts. All right, keep that going. Inhale, Utkatasana. Hips back. Exhale, fold straight down. Inhale, little picnic. Exhale, chaturanga. Your elbows slide into your side body as you drop. Inhale, still to the arms. The pelvis is off the floor. And exhale, rock it over. Right foot steps through. Warrior one. Take as much time as you need to. True Ashtanga is a lot faster than this, but I like this pace. Inhale, left foot steps through. Back heel down, coming up, warrior one. So typical Ashtanga, then be right back in chaturanga. I like being in an experience of the pose first, getting the feel of it, then release. And continue. Remember, if you start to feel fatigued, if you start to lose the mastery over your breath, you can always take child's pose. You can always skip a vinyasa. So don't feel shy about personalizing your practice. You'll be a good example for another and give other people permission to do the same. Inhale, let's come to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. And the knees, inhale, arms up, Uttanasana. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, couple more. Inhale, Uttanasana. Exhale, fold over straight legs, tip your weight forward towards your toes. Inhale, pike the torso up. Exhale, step it back, lower down. Inhale, build some flexibility in the spine. Look up. And exhale, roll it back. Right foot steps through. Warrior one. Exhale, release the hands. Step it back. And continue. Unless you need a break. Left foot leads next. Back heel lowers. Coming up. Setting your drishti at one place and then release your hands.
So if it starts getting too mechanical, remember to pause and breathe. So that your breath is initiating, guiding, and completing the movement. Inhale, feet at the top. Shine your heart. Good. Exhale, melt down and in. Inhale, knees bent, arms lifted. Exhale, hands to heart. I think that was 4. One more. Julie's like, I don't know. I'm just going. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step it back. Drop it low. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down low. Right foot steps through. We're almost done with these Surya Namaskaras. We'll get more time in the standing poses in a little bit. Stay here for a moment. Roll the pinkies in towards your temples and notice the spreading of the wings or the scapulas. All right, exhale, hands down. Let's continue to flow. It feels good. The air just came on. We'll get a little air conditioning soon if you're not feeling it yet. Left foot steps through next. We're gonna add in a little extra spin in the pinkies. A little extra rotation with the upper arms. A little extra spreading and sprouting of our wings and our upper back. Good, hands down. Let's flow. Pausing in this third and final downward facing dog for this set. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. All right, set the feet apart. Hands to the waist. Shoulders roll back, throat opens up. Exhale, hinge. Release your hands down towards your feet. If you can easily take your first 2 fingers, the Peace Mudra, around each big toe, do it. If you need to bend the knees to get there, do that. All right, now place your thumb on top of the toenail. Push down, fan your arms out, and whether or not your legs are straight or bent, doesn't matter. Give a little extra lift to your sits bones. This is a version of Padangusthasana. And even though we're going to be holding poses in stillness, try not to allow the breath to fall silent. Continue to create that audible sound. Inhale, lift your head up. Exhale, remove the mudra from the big toe. Bend the knees if you need to get the hands stacked all the way underneath your feet. Have your toes at the crease of your wrists. Bear weight on your hands, so don't shy away from that. Don't let all your weight in your heels. Push down into the balls of the feet. Good counter pose after our weight bearing. Let your head hang down, your neck neutralize. Hastasana, foot over hand pose. All right, let's release the hands now. Stack them back to the waist. Come all the way up. All right, now typically we turn to the right, but you guys on this side of the room, if you want to turn left so that we're facing each other, you just won't mirror each other, okay? This way you have a visual. But look down at your feet, line them up so they're parallel at first, and then turn your right foot towards the short edge side of your mat. Good, lift your arms up shoulder height, reach out over. Good, exhale, windmill the hand down to the shin, left arm reaching up towards the sky.
Lengthen out through the spine, lengthen out through your neck. Now the pinnacle of the pose is that top hand. Keep raising that hand and see if you can drive yourself back to stand. Good, right foot turns in. Left foot's gonna turn out. Arms lift, stretch out over the left leg. Stack your ribs and your shoulder and arm directly over that thigh. Attempt to stack the shoulders and roll open through your abdomen, through the barrel of the chest. So you're facing a side wall. And then affirm mentally, energy and joy flow down to me. You use that top hand to come up, relax your arms. Turn the left foot in. Turn the right foot to the short edge side and then offset your left foot and square your hips. Okay, now this is a pose where sometimes a block is helpful, but you don't have to have one. Just letting you know in case you need to grab one to be somewhat close to you. Let your left arm lift up solo. Good, as you exhale, you're gonna start to lean forward and spin the belly towards the right leg. And then free up the right hand, if that's okay for your shoulder, to create the pinnacle of this particular triangle. And you may not feel like you're creating the shape of the triangle, but if you casually look towards someone that you're facing right now, you can still see that generalized shape. The feet being the base, and the hips or that top hand being the pinnacle. Exhale, lower the right hand down. Plug your feet down, float your hands up, safely come to stand, because that's a really deep pose. Spin your feet the other way. Square your hips. Reach the right arm up. Good, exhale, hinge forward. Spin the belly towards the left leg. Send the hand to the block, to your body, or to the floor. Left arm reaching up. This is one of those poses that can have a tendency to take your breath away. So make sure you stay in command of your breath. Let's bring the left hand down, float the hands up. All right, turn your feet to be parallel again. Your foot will turn towards the front side of your mat, whether that's left or right, and then step up. Hands to prayer position. So I am gonna step it up because when we step up to bring the feet together, that can save us from getting the foot cramping. All right, step off to the right. It's not saying you won't, but it can be preventative. All right, turn your right foot towards the side of the mat. All right, lunge that knee. Good. Bring the forearm down. Elevate the left arm skyward. Good. Now, take that pinky and spin it towards your face like we did in Warrior One. And then you can take it across your ear. Now, one thing that I want you to focus on is where you're landing your weight in your back foot. We know the back foot's on the floor, but are you conditioning it down? Roll to the outer edge of your back foot. And then at the same time that you're rolling to the outer edge, push down through the mound of that left big toe. Then one more deep yogic breath, side angle, and then let's build it up. All right, turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Lunge that knee, stack it with precision over the ankle, lower to prop the arm. Send your right arm overhead. Spin the pinky towards your face, and then stretch it across your ear. Now focus on that electric line of energy in the right side of your body. You may feel it more in your torso, which is why we want to really plug the back foot firmly down to the ground. The arm that's resting on the knee can slightly pull the knee back if you want to open the hip more. Breathe. Affirm. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. And come up. Awesome. All right, turn that left foot in. Turn the right foot out, and we're gonna lift the back heel. Crank the left elbow to the opposite side of the right knee, hands glued together. Right elbow stays lifted. Dial your navel up over your thigh. Dial your heart up towards your thumbs. Pluck your back thigh up towards the sky. And don't forget to breathe. Then exhale, unwind. Plant your back foot. Come up safely. Spin, spin, spin the feet. Set up for the second side. Right elbow to the opposite side of your left knee. Lifting the navel over the thigh, drawing your heart up towards your thumbs. Good, exhale, unwind the twist. Plant your back foot, safely come up. Feet are parallel. Turn your foot towards the front side of the room. Step up to the top of the mat. Give your feet a momentary break here. All right, back to the right or left for you. All right, so in this position, I often see people turning their feet out, but try to square them up. There's another instruction that you may hear to slightly pigeon toe the feet. That works too, but not good for me. Hands to the hips, lift your heart up, exhale, dive in, and you're gonna let your hands drop down. If your hands don't quite touch the floor, I mean, you can use blocks, but don't worry about it if they're too far away. Your hands are actually gonna step back to be in line with the arches of the feet, except the hands are shoulder distance apart. When you lower the crown of your head down, I want you to push down as well through the mound of your thumbs. So as you're pushing through the mound of your thumbs, your elbows start to cinch towards each other. The elbows are bent into that space between the legs. You're working your shoulders, your triceps. This is a great thing to work with to build up for arm balances, even tripod headstand. And then notice if you're supinating or pronating the feet. Can you press down through all four corners of each foot? Can you lift even through your kneecaps? Now walk the hands forward. Lengthen out through the spine. Even out that blood flow a little bit. Good, take your hands to your hips. Root your feet and rise. Honestly, I remember this is the segment that makes my feet really work. Shoulders back, elbows squeeze back. Good, and you're gonna keep the elbows back and you're gonna hinge forward again. So you wanna keep that ruching between the shoulders. Reactivate that Ujjayi breath if you lost it somewhere. You can notice how when you double over, the cheeks of the face may even start to feel a little heavy due to gravity. All right, pressurize the feet. Inhale, slowly come up. We're just doing A, B, and C today. The C variation is linking the hands behind the back. Let your shoulders roll back, your arms lengthen down, but also your hands lifting away from the buttocks. All right, you have the option to stay here. Sometimes staying here feels amazing, or you can fold again.
The idea though is to keep the same activity, the same action in your shoulders. Prasarita Padottanasana. Then inhale, root your feet. Slowly come up to stand. And then release your hands. All right, when you release your hands, you're gonna turn your right foot 90 degrees. You're gonna offset your left foot. You're facing one side of the room with your hands coming behind your back. Fingertips coming together at the low back and wiggling them upstream to reverse prayer hands. And if you can't do reverse prayer hands, I know that's a lot. Fingertips are turned up in between the shoulder blades. Not that high, but in that direction. You can crisscross your arms if that's better. All right, lean back. Look up. Exhale, you're gonna start to lean out over the right leg. Fold, 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 keeping integrity and alignment in the lower body as you bow. Inhale, let's come up. Beautiful, exhale, spin on your feet. You're gonna turn the opposite direction in the room. Lean back at first, look up. Exhale, start to hinge and fold. Grip those feet into the mat. Squeeze that left hip towards you. Send that navel over towards your left knee. Gaze out towards your toes. The Padayor grounds your sheet. Inhale, let's slowly fill it up. All right, those of you facing the back of the room, remove your hands from behind your back and slowly turn around. The rest of us already facing the front, we can just step up. Okay. All right, I got these cool new pants, but they're too long. Bend your right knee. They're made out of recyclable water bottles. Who knew? All right, open up the right knee. The heel can rest above the ankle. You can also bring it to your calf. You can also align it to your upper thigh. Once you find your balance, your hands can come together at your heart, or you can extend the arms out like branches. Knees slowly. Shift your weight over to the right, bend your left knee, turn open from the hip, heel above the ankle to your calf, to the inner thigh. Vrikshasana tree. Style up your arms your own way. Exhale, you can let this pose go. Solidify your left foot. Again, we're shifting away. Hold your waist with your left hand. Hold your right knee with your right hand. Now this is the modification. My balance is a little off today, so I'm gonna stay here. But if you want to hook the first two fingers around the big toe and stretch out the leg, you can. And then we open to D, holding the toe or knee. We're gonna skip C and go to D. So bring that leg in front, hands to the hips. Extend the right leg. Okay, another great thing about the sequence is you can always pop up and use the wall. It's great. All right, shift your weight to your right leg. And then determine here, do you want to hold the knee? Or do you want the big toe? Pick one. Send the knee out to B. Front and transfer to D. Release. How are we doing? Good. All right, we're gonna bend the knees, but we're doing a different chair. So bring your knees a little closer together. Lift your arms up. Bring your head back if that's okay for your neck. If this is not okay for your shoulders or neck, you can do the regular chair. It doesn't require as much. 5 breaths here. Exhale, forward fold. We're going back into a sun sal. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Feels weird going back to the sun sal after all that, huh? And then downward facing dog. Good old familiar pose here. This is something I hope I can continue to do to my dying day. I love this pose. Come down to your knees. We're gonna bring the legs and feet out in front. This is where we start getting into our seated positions. So it's interesting if you look back at Iyengar yoga, which is a very precise form, they always start beginners with standing poses first and teach them sitting poses later, so that they're conditioning their legs and hips in order to sit. Ashtanga kind of does the same thing, right? We start standing, finally sit down. But if you find that you're like this automatically in the pose, you may want something to sit on, unless you can build up and be on your sit bones with your spine extended. So just kind of test the waters there. All right, flex out your feet, lift your arms overhead, push down through your thighs, and notice when you push down through your thighs, the ignition of your knees, your quads. Keep that as you fold. Paschimottanasana. So traditionally we look out past the feet, but the rules don't apply for everyone. So if you've been injured in your neck, if you have issues with your neck and you've been told don't exaggerate the C curve or keep your neck more elongated, then honor what you've been told by those professionals, lengthen your neck and look down, otherwise without. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands behind the back. Lean into your hands. Let your shoulders kind of crank back at first. Good. Point your toes next. And push into your heels to lift your hips. All right, exhale, gently release. Come back to your seat. All right. We're going to do this today. Can your right foot come alongside your right hip? If it cannot, I do not want you to force it. You will do Janu Shirshasana instead. Okay? So choose this one or this one.
All right, flex out that left ankle, the toe shining up towards the light. Reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward. Notice how that foot may want to flop in or out. Try to steady it on the center of your heel. Slow, deep breaths. Inhale, coming up. All right, if you're in Janu Sirsasana, lift your right knee. If you're in this half saddle, your right foot is gonna come to the front of you, standing on it. Right arm reaches out, and then pay attention to this. You're gonna turn and spin and continue to twist the arm so that it can bind. So twist, twist, turn, turn, turn as much as you can. Good, reach your left arm out next. Good, sweep it behind the back. You don't have to twist it as much as the right. Your hands may or may not meet. Don't worry if they don't. Look out towards your left foot. Stretch out through your sternum. And maybe hinge and fold a little deeper. Don't forget to breathe. And you may notice, you may drop more into deep diaphragmatic breathing, but see if you can keep that light Ujjayi breath rolling. All right, regardless if your hands are together or not, come down onto the right sit bone. Keep that right arm latched around the knee. Lift the foot up. All right, take your left hand and you're gonna grab the front of the foot and you're going to attempt to take half lotus. If half lotus does not work for your ankle, knee, or hip, don't force it. Drop the foot down like you did for Janu Sirsasana. Okay, now let's circle that right arm behind the back and actually do a twist. You may be able to catch that foot. If you can't, no problem. Just have your hand pressing onto your body somewhere. Now turn back to face knee or the front. Left arm overhead. Good, exhale, forward fold. Now, even though traditionally we look out, I like hanging the head here because there's a certain stretch. It can really target some of those threads from the neck into the shoulder that can cause a lot of tension in that area of the body. Inhale the tackle up, look out. Remove the back arm. Gently come up. All right, we're gonna do something a little different. Well, yes, we are. Left foot's gonna slide in. This is not Ashtanga. Right knee to the left ankle. Now, this may feel pretty good, but you also have the option to slide the right ankle onto the left knee. Okay, if both of these is like, this isn't working very well. The right foot crosses over so that your knees are ahead of you in line with your hips, and you see a triangle in between your legs, okay? So 1, 2, or 3 is your option. Lift up energetically to the top of the head as you push the fingers down into the floor. This may be enough. If you want more, you're going to fold and walk your hands out. That may be your edge. That may be the auza. And you need to breathe into it. Or you might be able to collapse and let your weight drop down. If that feels good and free. All right, inhale, let's slowly bring it back up. slide your left foot, or excuse me, yeah, left foot towards your right hip, left knee to the center of your mat, and then cross that right foot over to the opposite side. So we're lining up for Ardha Matsyendrasana, the twist. Is this working out? Yes, cool. All right, left arm circles around that top leg. Lift up through your waist, up through your chest. Right hand circles to the floor behind you. And then keep winding, rotating, turning into your twist. Exhale, let's unwind. All right, crisscross. Bump up. Step back. Vinyasa. Sometimes when you go to an Ashtanga class, they'll do a Vinyasa in between each of those sitting postures. So forewarning of that if you go somewhere else. Okay, knees down. Legs out in front. Right, second side. Left foot alongside your left hip for that half saddle appearance. Or Jani Shirshasana, doesn't matter which. All right, lift the arms, and fold on in. The more you work the foot, the more you're gonna work the muscles up through the leg. So see if you can splay open through your toes. Now lift the knee if you're in Jani Shirshasana, or bring that left foot around in front of you now. Left arm is gonna reach out, but then you turn, spin the hands, twisting the arm to bind it, then lengthen your right arm and just a nice sweep behind the back. The hands may or may not touch on the side, just test the waters. And slowly begin to lift the head and the heart, lower it back down to the left side of your seat. Maybe allow that left foot to kick up. Right hand separates from behind the back. Take a hold of the top of the foot, let go of the binding. See if that foot can land in Padmasana. Ideally, the heel is in line with the belly button. So try not to cross it way far over. Left arm behind the back. You can create the twist to try to find the foot. If you can just grab the singular big toe, be really careful with that, because that when I first started to be able to grab my foot, I could only get the big toe. And one time I pulled it and it hurt my knee. I didn't get injured, but it felt really, really weird. All right, right arm up. Exhale, forward fold. And halfway up, look out. Exhale, release the back arm. Come up and slide your right foot under your left knee. If that's too awkward, slide it forward. This is a little bit more advanced. If that's too much, cross it over and beyond. Fingertips down, head and heart high.
And then exhale, hinge forward, walking the hands out, or collapsing your weight down. Loving, compassionate action with your body. Inhale it slowly, start to lift it up. Your right foot is gonna slide over towards your left hip. The right knee facing the front of the room. Left foot's gonna stand down. And then lower back to both sides of your seats. Right arm hugs the knee. Lift up. So you're extending your spine nice and long as you circle the left hand behind your back. Bring that twist all the way into your neck. Move the cervical spine. Exhale. Unwind from that. All right, we're gonna uncross. Station on your heels. Slip your hands up underneath your knees. Lift your chest, lean back, and then elevate your feet. Navasana boat. Crisscross the ankles. Bring them not all the way down, hover above the floor. Bring your hands down. Lean into your hands, squeeze through your belly, bump yourself up. Reset. Navasana boat, using hands or not. Affirming within every breath is infinite power. Crisscross the ankles, lean into your hands, squeeze into your core, bump up. All right, for the last one, you can do this one, you can do this one, you can do this one, or I'm going to lace the first two fingers on the big toe. And I'm gonna do this style. You can do any version of your liking. All right, crisscross. Last vinyasa, I promise. Now, you can step or you can hop the feet wide just behind the knees. You can step or hop, feet wide behind the knees. Got it. All right, we're moving towards an arm balance, and it looks like this. When you hunker down, your hands go back on the inside of your ankles. Your knees squeeze your upper arms, lifting the head, and then the feet will move to the center, flex and float above the floor. Sorry. Go ahead and come out of that. But from Bhuja Pindasana, if you want to go to Tisabasana, you can straighten out your legs. You may just want to feel the weight on your hands. And the knees squeezing the arms if you don't want to lift the feet. And then yes, we're gonna walk to the floor. It's not far. You have that cushion there, it's softer when you move. All right, feet apart. Hands slip up underneath the knees. Flex the feet and slide out. Brahmasana, tortoise pose. In this position, the spine does round. You're creating the tortoise shell. Slide your hands back in. Bring the feet together. And fold into Baddha Konasana. Now, I meant to tell you, make sure the back side of your mat is clear, and I'll show you why. We're going to be doing this little flow next. When we come up, we're latching the fingers around the big toes, lifting the feet and splaying them wide, balancing on our seat. And it's okay for the knees to bend. It's like a happy baby pose, right? It works. You can stay here, or if you have clearance, we can roll back to a wide plow. If you're in plow, you're going to try to roll up and catch yourself in that original pose. It's okay to make sound effects. And then usually they hold the feet, but I don't like the way that feels, so I let the feet go. That kind of flopping I don't like. It hurts my feet. And this is your Konasana. Now we've done a lot of the various sitting poses that are in Ashtanga. Now we're moving into inversions. So let's bring the legs together as we come up. We'll roll to our backs and bend the knees. We're going to go to bridge. So the first thing I want you to do is bring your arms down beside your body, palms facing the floor. And the first thing I want you to acknowledge is whether or not you're engaging your arms. You may have stretched them out, you may have flipped the palms down, but are they relaxed? Can you roll the outer arms firmly towards the floor? And when you do that, can you experience that lift at the cavity of the chest where the breastbone is? From there, push down into the mound of the big toes, into the soles of the feet, and start to tuck the tailbone, lifting thighs, hips, abdomen, chest. Keep your head still. If you want to roll the shoulders under the body more, you can shift your weight, clasp your hands, and build that platform of the shoulders at your upper back. If you do that, be sure to re-engage your legs, meaning you're rolling and squeezing the thighs towards each other. Let your belly balloon up and down as you inhale and drop down and in on the exhale. If you love back bends, if you love bridge pose, if you want to lift to wheel, I am not doing that today. But if you want to flip your hands over your shoulders, push into the palms, and lift your way up. I have always loved wheel, but I have discovered, now that I'm close to 50, I have what a lot of older people get, a degenerative disc in my low back. It doesn't feel good to me to do wheel anymore. The bridge works. Still an inversion. All right, exhale, remove the fingers apart, but maybe drop the palms to the floor, sit on your hands, Stretch out your legs, point your toes, push down through the elbows, lift your whole torso up, puff up your chest, lean your head back to the fish. Now, generally speaking, you do bridge and then wheel. You do shoulder stand and plow and come into fish. We're doing a little different of a sequence. Good, are you ready? Come on down. Hug your knees in briefly. Give yourself some love. And tell me yes or no for headstands. Yes to go right into sound meditation.
Yes.
Yeah, yes for sound meditation. Okay, body spent. We got our inversions in. We didn't get them all in, but we got enough in.
I'm down with headstands if that's what everybody wants.
I think everybody's good with sound. Is that the consensus? Sound? Okay. How about us getting off of our mats and turning our mats so that we're lining up, not too close to the bowls, but in a circle around the bowls. And since we're doing sound meditation, you guys can take Shavasana. Namaste.